Steve Morgan for Fishing Monthly Magazine's here at the conclusion of the 2015 Rapala Barra Tour. And I'm with Craig Griffiths, member of Team Humminbird EJ Todd. And Craig, you and Karim actually smashed them in this event. You caught 10 out of 10 fish for an average length of 110.1 centimetres. So It's a ridiculous weight, a record weight, and you've actually got your full 5 limit for the entire Barra Tour. How does that feel?
Oh, unbelievable. That was our goal. We said at the start, bag out every session, and that'd be unreal. But the last 2 days at Faust, unbelievable. Metre 10 average on 10 fish. You can't even do that when you're playing around with your mates on a weekend. Like, no one believe you. Then you go and do it in a comp. Dreams made of that. Yeah.
So let's talk about the spot you fished. To everyone else, it looked like you were fishing like dead set just in the middle of the lake, but it was a special little spot. Can you take us through the spot?
It's a big weed point. It goes for probably 5-6 out into the middle of the dam, and at the end of it, the weed drops off. You'll see the weed in about 6 foot. It's nearly to the top of the surface, and then it slowly, as you get deeper, the weed kind of goes deeper and deeper. There's about 3 foot of weed on the bottom that you can't see. Your sounder will pick it up, and then it'll just slowly, when you get to 11 foot, it'll just drop off to no weed. So we sat out in that 13 foot, throwing 30 metres up into where the weed started, and we just kept our plastics a foot off the top of that weed, and that's where the fish were feeding. They weren't feeding in the weed. They were just 4 foot of water. We just burned it across there, stopped, let it sink, jiggle it, it was dropping, and that's when we got our bites.
Now, you found those fish on your Humminbird Onyx.
Yep.
Tell us exactly how you used it to find the fish.
We drive around with it. On the down scan on these are unbelievable. Like, you can pick up everything. And we could see the fish clear as a bell, their backs, everything, just above the weed, like 1/2 foot gap, and then 3 foot of weed. So we knew they were feeding above it, not down in it.
Now, that first day you caught your fish, they took a while to come on and you had that bite just around dark. But on the second day, you got your limit straight away. Take us through that second day and how awesome it was.
Yeah, we had, it was fairly windy, like 15 to 20 knots, and there was waves crashing over the front. The whole session we were there. So we got an anchor, 10 foot of chain, big chain. Mm-hmm. We've got Karim, so he can lift that stuff up. Like a plonker that weighs 20 kilos, big lump of lead, tied that on the front. And we got ahead of our waypoint, so we're setting up right where we caught him the day before, and I'm getting it all in place, setting it all up. Crim's out the back, doesn't help me, just flicks her out the back, second cast, boom, gets the fish. We didn't even set up, so that's the start we wanted. And the next hour and a half, we got our 5 fish. Yep. And then we just kicked back and relaxed.
Now, let's just take us through the individual fish. You had metre 11, metre 11, metre 11, metre 10, and what was the 5th fish?
Metre 9. At 8:30, we casted a big plastic for 2 hours. We had no moon, no fish coming through. We were 3 centimetres off that magic, metre 10 mark, and we wanted to get that milestone, so I just stood up there the whole time, cast that, and got one bite and got him to the boat, and it was a metre 9.
Now, let's have a look at some of the tackle that you used for this. Firstly, you threw bait caster rods this whole tournament. Take us through that.
Me and Karim love our bait casters. We used to use spin, but we can't work out the weed like we do with bait caster. A 6-to-3 ratio on the Zillions. On the Dobbin Savvies, just a bit softer tip, so when that fish sucks that plastic in, a bit softer there, so we're not pulling it out of their mouth, and we can rip it through the weed a lot easier. Yep. We're trying to stay above it, so we flick him on the drop. If you do get in the top of that weed, you can rip him out fast, wind him a bit quicker with the speed of the reels, and keep it above the weed.
Now, let's go through some of these baits. These aren't your standard size Barra baits. You went big for this tournament, so can you take us through?
We went big. We tricked everything up with stingers. Got to have them stingers on there. You don't want to bite and miss him just because you haven't got a stinger on. Just in case they're short. And that's the Strike King Shadowlissus. That's 6.5. Yep. The Storm. It's got the rattle in it. At night, if we've got no moon, we just put that on, just that bit of a noise. Yep. This is a plastic. It's a custom-made plastic. Trevor Burgess makes them down in Gladstone.
And that looks like it's about 9 inches long, that thing?
Yeah, 9 inches, and it's just a slow, we just work him slow. You don't have to jerk him, you just slow wind him back.
Yep.
And then the Berkeleys. Yeah. Like old school right there. Not many people use them anymore. It's got the gold on him, and they're a good fast winding. You can burn them lures.
So take us through the technique. You throw them out. Is it a slow roll? You want it just to be tipping that weed, don't you?
Where we're casting's like 10 foot, so we're counting down to 3, and we're about 2 foot off the top of the weed, and we start burning, cranking him hard. And as it slowly drops, so we stop every 10 metres, and as he's stopping, we keep the rod tip low to the water, don't lift it up high, and just tickle him as he's dropping.
So he's
dropping, going down, and that over half our bites come like that.
Come on the drop.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it was a great effort, and it was a great way to seal the Team of the Year deal. We're going to see a different video with you and Karim talking about your efforts in the Team of the Year. But all the full results are on abt.org.au. You can see how well these guys and all the other teams did at Peter Faust Dam. And keep an eye out on the 2016 ABT Barra Tour dates on abt.org.au. Congratulations.
Thanks, Steve.